Oh my god, bro, how?
You just pushed it back though.
Can't never find no girl that likes what I like. Like, I can't find no
Why
girls
you
that like
want
anime,
that?
like video games. You know, I mean, I have talked to some girls that do like that stuff, but it's rare, man.
No black women would like you because she ain't no thug.
I'm gonna say it now, being a black nerd is truly one of the most beautiful things on this planet. You have the luxury of intersecting with two vastly immersive cultures, black culture and nerd culture, both so diverse and so massive that it's hard to define either one with a singular definition. However, both cultures have had a historic tendency of not being the most desired by society as a whole. In the past, even today to some extent, nerds were often stereotyped as socially awkward, introverted individuals, which in turn opens them up to ostracism, and in the case of adolescence and childhood environments, bullying. And I don't think I need to explain the ways in which society does not desire blackness nor black people. There's not enough time in this video for that. That's not to say things haven't changed in recent years. Hell, in many aspects, liking nerdy content is seen as cool amongst
It's cool now.
It's cool now, man.
Star Wars, to anime, to video games, hell, to even comic books. A lot of this type of content that traditionally would have been considered too nerdy 20 years ago is now
People aren't even
widely
fans, they fake
accepted
fans.
by mainstream culture and society, which is a great and beautiful thing. But let's be real, I'd be lying if I said being labeled a nerd, especially in some black spaces, still doesn't
have some negative.
Are we labeled nerds?
For some, it's still widely used
Probably.
as a pejorative.
Yeah.
This combined with
Or
all the
weird.
ways that nerds have
Weird
been
nerd.
historically
What if I had a
portrayed
nickel for
in media
everyone?
on screen, it's no surprise that
Whitewash.
someone identifying as one may
I've never
feel a
been
sense
called
of
a nerd.
insecurity within the presence of those who don't necessarily.
I never been
share
called
that
one
identity.
individually,
Combine this with
but as a
our
group.
racist media that already
Oh, no, I've
has
been
a
called a
monolithic
nerd every
Yeah.
day.
As a group,
It can be
been called a
extremely
nerd.
frustrating and
They call me
taking
everything
toll.
under the
In
sun.
other words, yeah,
That's your
being
school,
black
I can
nerd
see
is
that.
awesome.
like when
But
they're referring
for
to
some, it can
us,
still hurt.
I
This
definitely
usually
heard
presents
nerd.
your average black nerd with two choices.
There is choice number one, the path of light. When a blerd takes the path of light, they decide to rally against anti-blackness. They recognize that the way the world treated them as a child was horrible, and instead of perpetuating it back and wallowing in defeat, will join other blerds in the fight to make the overall community.
you hear how bad that is?
Bro.
Do you hear how bad that is?
But not everyone chooses to
positive.
go
He's
down
acting
this
like
path.
this is
Some black
freaking
nerds grow up and choose
segregated
the path of
against.
We can pause it right here, bro.
That likes what I like.
Nah, we gonna talk
I can't
about it
find
after,
no girls
man.
that like anime, that like video games. You know, I mean, I have talked to some girls that do like that stuff.
Just say what's on your mind, bro.
Why would you want that?
They saying foolishness anyways.
Why would you want your girl to be into everything that you doing?
To get them out and into the light before
That's
it's
just
too late.
unrealistic.
You may have heard the phrase,
Black girls don't like me because I'm a nerd, or at least some very.
Never heard anybody
stop
say
saying
that.
this.
I've never heard
Please, I'm
anybody say
begging you to
that.
stop saying this.
If I had $1 for every time I heard this, I'd be able to quit my job and do this full time. We've got to stop saying this bullshit, because it's flat out wrong, and it's time we broke down why it's wrong.
While attempting to escape the anti-blackness perpetuated by
Both American media and people within our own community, black nerds, specifically a lot of us nerdy black men, tend to exhibit behaviors and ways of thinking that end up being more harmful to other black nerds that don't look like us, primarily nerdy black women. Many of us nerdy black men tend to unfortunately use this space, the same space that's allowed us to be our authentic selves, as a focal point and battering ram for our frustrations with the racism and
ignorance in society. In the process, we end up
doing more harm to black female and femme nerds who share our exact same identity. In other words, we got a bit of a misogynoir problem.
chunk of black
We
nerd
don't.
culture, despite being intended as an inclusive
Community for other individuals like us often inadvertently contributes to anti-blackness and misogynoir due to certain dynamics we've allowed to fester within these spaces. Now, I'd already know some of y'all are probably cringing or about to turn the video off. Don't worry, I saw your toes curl through the screen. But let's break down why this has to stop, because it's not really helping us out. In fact, it's doing more damage to all of us. And what we identify as nerdiness or define as being a nerd is going to be expressed differently by someone else.
So let's
Why,
explore
though?
this black nerd problem and unpack the reason why
So many nerdy black men feel as if they can't get love from black women. I can tell you right now, it might not be because you like anime.
It's cause you weird.
Boy, but you still want to keep watching, or you already done, bro?
Let's hear the arguments, bro.
I want to hear this.
I only made it 16 minutes in, bro. Hey.
Before we get started,
I need to establish some ground so that everyone is on the same page. This video is not going to be me shamelessly dunking on socially awkward black men in a roast session, nor is it going to be me shamelessly shifting blame on black women. If you came here for the classic y'all niggas were just weird argument or you stink, you're not going to get too much of that.
you might get a little brief sprinkle in.
Some of y'all just be weird.
That's not gonna be the basis.
A lot of them just be weird.
That's because this video
Is a critique of the larger root problem, not ridicule of those affected by it.
I've said this before in my videos, and I will continue
To say it. These videos are intended to ask why. Why is it that so many black nerds, specifically nerdy black men, feel that they get no love from black women? What specifically has led them to framing this notion in their mind, and why is this mindset carried so far into adulthood? Do black
women who are also
If you're in that
have
deep.
similar experiences.
That's crazy. They actually just fetishizing black women.
20 to
30 plus minutes making fun of some of the goofiness and misogyny
Of course, no one was gonna like that. Like,
all black women's fault that nerds weren't shown love, but what's that really going to accomplish? There's more than enough Twitter threads full of niggas doing that already. And nigga is gender neutral, by the way. I mean everyone when I say that.
Instead, let's break down the nuances of
black
this so
women
that we
like
can get closer to the bottom of this instead of just being
Races,
miserable.
other races
To do
are
this, I
nerds.
gather the opinions
Yeah, like-
and input of some fellow black nerds, each not
Only with different gender identities, but different experiences growing up. By shining a light on their different backgrounds of growing up as black nerds, as well as detailing their experiences with
getting the war.
You see what I'm saying?
We can
Like,
see
and this
interconnected
is why I
issues
talked to you
that
about this one,
nerdy
bro.
black men and nerdy black women
Because it
face,
feels
as
like
well
one
as
of those
perspectives
psychology
that greatly
or
go against the
philosophy
narrative of
classes.
nerdy black men
When
not
somebody has an
getting
essay,
love from black women.
and the
Don't
professor's
worry,
just
for
like,
those of you that were
this is
expecting
not
long
good.
trauma dump, you
Because
will
there's
get
no real
that
argument
in this
here.
next section. In this next section, we're going to examine what the black
Like, what do you mean trauma?
is.
Trauma for what?
At
What
least
does it have to
some
do?
permutations of it.
being a-
Was it cool?
and black
Did everyone
nerd.
get bullied?
Did we truly get no love? Well, let's
find out.
Sound like a dissertation.
And that is, and like what? I gotta get bullied to be a black nerd?
Not according to him. That's what you need to do.
Like I have to be an outcast to be a nerd, basically.
Yeah.
You'll find pretty quickly
And
that
there's so many examples that that's simply not the
because
case.
Generalizing the different
Experiences of millions of black folks, but also because I feel we're comparing many of its environments for black nerds in the past to how it is now. As of 2024, the time in which this video was released, it's probably one of the best times to be a black nerd. Not just in terms of acceptance, but accessibility as well. As a Gen Zer who spent his childhood during the 2000s and early 2010s, I can tell you the way things are right now in the 2020s, I wish I had back then. While I may have had it better than folks before me who grew up in the 80s and 90s, it still did have its limitations on visibility. Miles Morales wasn't a thing yet, and unless you were a comic fan, you hadn't heard about people like Black Panther or
That's so cow.
closest superhero that looked like
me on screen.
were these
Why do you need
Shout
that?
out to the absolute
Oh my God,
legend.
here we go with
Phil
this.
Combined
Is this where you stop?
Social media wasn't nearly as powerful back then as it is now.
Not yet. I ain't stopped there. You trying to make it to that 16 mark?
I was like, did you see when he talked about Childish Gambino?
I don't know.
No.
Oh,
I don't know if I can, bro.
I want you to.
Bro,
I want you to see. I want you to listen.
I don't know if I can make it to 16.
Like I really want to turn it off already.
That's what I'm saying. I don't know if I can make it to 16.
Cause like you just disagree so strongly, right?
Yeah.
Through TV like Toonami. Toonami is a video within itself. Despite this lack of exposure, me and many other kids like me still managed to partake in nerdy activities while having.
And notice he's only showing DreamCon.
Yeah, that's-
What happened to Comic-Con or all the other thousands of cons?
I'm telling you, just black nerds, bro.
And I had my nerdy niggas beside me.
Tournaments I had were NBA Street tournaments. I'm talking.
Like how was that nerdy? NBA Street?
What?
That is actually pretty normal. You're ostracizing yourself.
Who won and who
Like it's
won.
literally it's Michael Jordan in the game. You know
It's
what I
not
mean? Like
nerdy, bro.
The final is tennis. That was game 7. That was our game 7. Like with Budokai Tenkaichi tournaments,
Everybody
NBA
was
tournaments.
playing
That was our
that.
game 7.
I used to code alien, non-human, anthropomorphic ass characters as black. And I know for a fact that many of y'all did the exact same thing. We all know about Piccolo already being claimed by us, but I was coding Arthur as black. I was coding Grim from Billy.
Like you have a problem, dude. Why does everyone have to be black to you? Why do they have to be your race?
You know, seeing Arthur as black is crazy.
Yeah.
9, 10, love Kingdom Hearts. That's such a nostalgic series.
That's not stuff from childhood too. People be like in Kingdom Hearts. I'm like, is that not Mickey Mouse right there?
That's not nerdy, bro.
It's not.
It's nostalgia. It's comfort.
Like,
Speaks to the dark theme. I kind of looked over my media content.
But it's not always sunshine and rainbows. If that were the case, we wouldn't need to make this video. The positive experiences that were just highlighted are not indicative of
I really wish you could.
Don't laugh at me, bro. I keep checking the time, bro.
Playing video games when you were younger, you're just a nerd.
Yeah, apparently, like,
share
okay.
similar hobbies and interests with.
As if games weren't made for kids.
What?
What they are marketed as.
Black nerd, but I'm a black nerd with autism. Like my interests, like ramped up to like 100. A higher power made sure that like I wasn't anything but.
I forgot how cringy this was.
What does that have to do with anything, though?
Liking dinosaurs?
I still don't think it's like. I don't know, bro. Nerd to me is different.
What's y'all's definition of a nerd, bro?
I agree with Rashad's definition.
We just gonna say it at the end, bro.
Alright.
Are y'all done, bro?
We'll say it.
Actually, like,
I want you to get to the part where he talks about Childish Gambino.
I might have to just skip to that,
You
bro.
can skip to it.
Alright.
Do you know where it's at?
It's like a little bit towards the end.
Okay, cause I can't.
God.
The yeah, right there.
The Glover effect.
Yeah.
Glover.
I want you to just listen to this part. You don't even have to listen to nothing else.
I just didn't like the politics that
He's not nerdy.
black girls. That you're like, okay, then you take like a black chick. It's like, oh, as soon as you just make it, you're gonna break up with her and date her. And it's like, I don't want to deal with like Asian chicks. Like people are always like, you know, like they're like, oh, okay, dating an Asian chick, nobody cares. Also,
Look up Donald.
This is already off to a bad start.
Oh, you have no idea how far it goes.
Bro, cause I feel like people be putting him in like the face of it.
They do.
Even though the character he played in the show
This one kind of
was a blur,
and I'll
but
straight
him
up
as a
admit,
person is
a lot of
different.
us black men creatives owe a lot of inspiration to Donald.
Mind you, he creates like rap music and stuff like.
What it? Him and Parks and Recreation.
But
He's playing a blur. Yes.
Community, like
screen that had
Oh, it's Community. Not
Yeah,
Parks.
Community.
But he's playing a blur.
After a while,
But that's not him.
Yeah, like
Just because he likes Spider-Man doesn't mean, you know.
From his various early roles,
this mold by portraying quirky black male characters that
Quirky.
Also had a charm and charisma.
What's it called when somebody tries to like
this black man who was into nerdy
personify, like put themselves in someone else's on someone else's character?
For a lot of black boys, they saw someone who was a non-stereotypical example.
I don't think people understand though. Like that's the act though. You know, like
They be thinking that's like him.
It didn't take long for him to become
archetype for nerdy black men. Hell, at one point there were even jokes about him playing Spider-Man. That's how wide-reaching this became. His music and stand-up helped seal the deal for many, creating a massive fan base, which I, as a child, was a part of. He had a good number of albums that were... Okay, I'm gonna be honest with you. Most of his music has not aged well, like at all. Here I am now an adult, and the music don't really hit the same. You know, as a 13-year-old, I thought camp was fucking deep. You know, but now, yeah, that's just not it. He's got maybe about 2 albums that are worth it. It did 2.5. Because the internet is okay. Awaken My Love is pretty solid. If only he paid the model on the cover, but that's besides the point. Donald became very significant to nerdy black men, especially those who felt as if their blackness was under constant threat from both inside and outside of the community. He was able to relate to a contingent of young
I'd say for introverts, maybe.
very good at stories.
But not for blurs.
This came as a
Like Atlanta, the show. I feel related just because I don't talk like that.
Gave him space for
I do just be wanting to chill.
I love that show.
It also caused us to turn up.
But it feels like an introvert. You know, wrote the show.
Not a blurred.
Not a blurred though.
Nah.
Half the people that be thinking he a blurred haven't even watched Atlanta.
It's not quirky.
In the sense that he is a black man
That can do whatever he wants.
Can do the same thing.
All right, bro. I'm sorry.
I can do the same thing.
All right, bro.
Why do you need to?
So hold on.
You can do the same thing.
So hold
People
on.
are sheep, bro.
So here's one thing that was bothering me. He kept saying to men, right?
Yeah.
Like, Donald Glover is the symbol to men. What men? What men were watching him? No men.
No, bro.
Boys. We were what?
Kids.
We were what? When he first released music, we was what? 12, 13?
Yeah, literally teens.
Like, yeah, you grow up with it. You know what I mean? But like, you don't really understand it.
No idea what he talking about.
Look, that's why he didn't even really understand the music. He just said, "Oh, he had something."
I liked it when I was like 12 or 13.
Yeah, like, bro.
Like, did you listen to his music and be like, "Oh, I feel heard now"?
Because I don't see him as a blurred. I see him as an artist.
That's
not a blurred.
That's what I'm saying.
He's not a blurred.
Because here's the thing with artists, it's always abstract, so it's gonna come off as different to other people.
Exactly.
So like, yeah, some of it's funny.
Point of art.
So Zach Fox, right? Same thing, right? Same thing with, and he might be a nerd, you know, but I'm not gonna label him as that.
Yeah, like,
you know, who else? Like Thundercat. We probably nerd out too on Thundercat. He literally is named Thundercat.
Yeah,
of course
Thundercat.
he loves the show Thundercat.
From the cartoon, though,
but like that don't make his whole personality.
Y'all be,
you know, none of y'all got colored dreads with your nails painted and play bass. You know what I mean? Like that's, you know, the definition of nerd.
Yeah, what's y'all's definition of nerd, bro?
So to me, definition of nerd is you're geeking out on something. Like, it could be anything. You could be a nerd for basketball. You could be a nerd for... Heck, you can be a nerd for hunting.
You can be a nerd for anything.
You can be a nerd for literally anything. And that just means, like, you go above and beyond to understand the ins and outs of it.
I met a nerd that was a nerd about carpet.
Like, like that means you know...
I'm so serious.
You know, like, the most random thing about it. Yeah. Not a fun fact. You know, like...
Fun facts are shallow.
Like, you understand the concept of it. That makes you a nerd of it. So, like, for example, since I'm a philosophy major, you could say, freaking, I'm a nerd for philosophy, but I'm not. Because I can't just tell you, hey, this philosopher did this or that. But I still practice philosophy, therefore I'm still a philosopher.
Exactly.
But I'm not a nerd. Like...
Oh my god, I played Animal Crossing when I was 12. I'm such a nerd.
I was such a nerd. Gosh, guys.
I own 2 comic books, so... Oh, actually, look. I have this book over here on the human anatomy, and then I have this encyclopedia.
Yeah,
like guys, look.
You're a nerd. You're such a nerd.
Yeah, you're so
oh my
nerdy.
God.
Like that's just the whole view is just skewed.
Like, it's so what's the word for it? It's limited. Like, you put nerd in such this box when you can nerd about anything. Y'all be closing it down to literally just video games and comic books. Now anime, because anime didn't even used to be like that.
And it's stupid because anime is just Japanese.
It's just Japanese cartoons.
So you're basically saying, so if somebody from a different country says, I like Dora, what, they cool now?
Yeah, are they
saying? Like, that's basically what you're saying.
Come on now.
Oh, I like Avatar.
Be serious.
Like, that's literally you just being from another country, bro.
Watching Baki, does that make you a nerd?
Apparently you're a nerd now.
They're just throwing hands.
It can literally be an anime about bodybuilding, because you're into bodybuilding, but now you're still a nerd.
Yeah.
That doesn't make sense.
That's dumb.
And then it's worse because it's mainstream. So why are you calling it nerd if you're...
It's not... like...
The nerds should be the people that are, like, really
into it. Like, a nerd is
know facts about the mangaka and crap.
A nerd about a comic book can tell me the exact issue of Amazing Spider-Man where Gwen Stacy died, or shoot, when he fought the wall.
Stuff like that.
Like you should be able to write an essay on it.
Pretty much, yeah. If you could write an essay
on anything, if you can write a detailed essay with arguments and counter arguments, then
you're a nerd.
You're a nerd on it.
Some of y'all be like passing off as fake nerds just because it's in the mainstream, even though it's not, because y'all getting the whole correct definition of nerd wrong.
Like I see it more as like you can just be a big fan instead of a nerd.
And there's nothing wrong with that.
Like I just told y'all, like the WWE stuff, like somebody would say I'm a nerd on it. Like that one, I could say maybe. Right? I ain't gonna say I'm the biggest nerd on that, but I am borderline.
And,
you know,
like,
if I really watched it,
yeah,
I borderline am.
And there's nothing wrong with being a big fan about it. Like, it's normal.
Like
it's natural.
Like y'all don't watch UFC like that, but y'all still keep up with it.
Keep
a
up
little
like
bit, right? So you're a fan.
It's in my Instagram feed.
You're
like,
not a nerd.
Oh yeah, like I like that post. Oh, ooh.
Like yeah, just because we watch it don't mean
Yeah, like or a big fight happens, I'll tune in.
Yeah.
Like,
because we'll definitely talk about it. Yo. Everybody will be like, "Hey, you see the fight?
You see the fight? Like,
we know.
Like, has a black woman ever been like, ugh, you watch anime?
No,
I don't want to talk to you.
I've never had. Me personally, I've never had that.
It can't be just because you watch anime. You gotta be a weird.
You just something else is definitely
like something ain't right.
Actually, to be honest,
and sometimes that just might not even be your type.
Probably just unattracted to them.
Like
what I watched has never even came up as like. I don't want to say like a conflict, but like just in general, it's never came up
you
as
watch
like
anime? Okay.
Yeah, like
I personally don't, but
well, no, it's just like anything else, right?
Yeah,
it's like, oh, I listen to this, and they be like, oh, okay, cool. You know, like there's nothing else to it. Like
they acted like women be.
I mean, heck, I would go out wearing this and like people be like, cool, you know,
cool.
Like black women just be rejecting them.
Yeah, like
I mean,
what?
To be honest, when I wear anything anime related or like comic book, it's usually dudes.
Is
any dude? I mean, they see the Majin tattoo and they'll go, "Hey, bro,
that's fire!
I like the tag." Or they'll be like, "Hey, cool, you like Dragon Ball?" That's it. That's literally it. You know, like there's nothing else. Like if they're attracted to you because you watch something,
that's a problem. That's a red flag. Actually, that is a red flag. If you are a black man and they're attracted to you for what you watch, that's a problem. You need to run.
Well, I feel like you're not even a man if you're still running to anime to get away from life. Because it's supposed to be entertainment at the end of the day, bro.
That's the whole major point of it. It's entertainment.
It's entertainment, bro. Don't make it your life. It should not be your personality. I'm not dissing cosplayers because that is an art in itself.
Yeah, treat them like any other artist, though.
But like,
when that's all they talk about.
But you shouldn't want to be those characters, you know, and you shouldn't you shouldn't feel the need to see yourself on screen.
Yeah.
That's lame, anyways.
It means you don't have enough self-confidence in yourself.
Well, I always think of this. What about people that grew up without TVs and they did these great things?
Amazing things.
And even people that still don't have TVs necessarily, right? So what the heck are they supposed to do? You talking about, oh man, I built my life on this because I saw Goku do this.
Yeah.
You sound stupid.
Like,
no.
You just based your whole life off of something some dude just created, and you don't even know the reason why he created it most of the time. He or she.
It could be like, well, shoot.
Because some people do it just because the network told them to.
Yeah.
Some people say, hey, let's do this because, the money's there.
Mm-hmm.
It might be, oh, this is based off my son. Like, it's literally based off a different person. So why are you trying to be this person?
Half the stuff you've seen in Dragon Ball Z, the Z, not the Z manga, but the Z anime, half of that stuff is editorial based. Like, half the stuff that the author didn't even want to be. Yeah. But his original idea got thrown out, and you have to go to the editors.
And that's why I don't agree with even nerding out, like geeking out on comics and anime, because
you know how manufactured comics is? I can go on a 20-minute rant off of Spider-Man right now and his downfall in the past 10 years.
And it's like you can't.
But you inspired by that?
You can't give the artist free will on stuff that with the money like that.
You can't,
because people always want more, right?
Yeah.
So when you want more, and you want more Spider-Man.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's too much.
Spider-Man is a brand now.
Because you can't give them free will. Because the artists are going to take it in a totally different direction. It's going to be all over the place.
The time Gwen Stacy slept with Norman Osborn.
Like,
ew.
That happened.
So companies they do have to control it in a way. No matter what.
You could look up on Comics Authority the entire list of mandates Spider-Man is allowed to and not allowed to have. It just have the reason why he's not even married in the comics right now anyway.
That's a lot of Japanese brands. Stuff like Sonic.
Oh yeah, Sonic, they have mandates.
There's a lot of rules you can't do. Like, if Sonic's gonna appear...
Mario,
yeah.
Anything.
There's a lot of things you can't
Pokemon,
do.
Yeah, especially Pokemon, bro. Man, Pokemon has so many rules. They're suing Power World still.
Power World.
Listen, and there's a reason why. Like, it's not.
You gotta protect the brand because that's where the money comes from.
You have to protect it because then they're gonna change the vision. It's gonna change to something else, and that's why. Like, I don't know. It makes me think of when people be drawing characters and then draw them in a black version.
Yeah,
That's
that's a whole.
That's not how the character was depicted. So you're changing the story. I'm just being honest. Like, to me, because there's definitely times when I was drawing growing up, no TV, right? I'm just drawing, and people. There's been a teacher that asked me, "Is that a black dude?" And I'm like, "No." I'm like, "He's Irish."
And even then,
and they're like Irish, and I'm like, "Yeah, he's an Irishman. He's the business dude. That's what I pictured." You know, like, I don't know. Like,
an Irish businessman with red hair. Like,
that's just the story I pictured. You know, like it has nothing to do with this. Like,
even then, like drawing the character in, like, as a black version. Okay, cool, but why post it?
Like I definitely did it at some point as an animator, but it's because people kept getting on me when I didn't do it. Like in the animation classes and the art classes, if I drew a white person, they kind of was like, huh? So I felt like I had to draw a black person.
That's interesting.
And then not only that, I stayed away from drawing people for a long time because people get offended.
Yeah. They shouldn't. Your art is how you see the world.
And they get offended, and I'm like, this is my interpretation. That's how I see you. And, you know, I didn't draw them in no nasty way.
The ugly, stereotypical
no big
way.
head or nothing. Like, y'all seen my drawings. I'm better with realistic. So when I draw somebody, I typically do realistic. And actually, when I do cartoon, I take away a lot of features.
Simplified it.
So it was very dumb. So my mom sometimes would be like, why you got all these drawings and it's just you? Like, it's drawing you. And I'm like, because I didn't want to offend anybody.
Yeah.
Like, I never wanted to draw women like that because I never felt comfortable drawing, you know,
yeah,
the curves, because I don't want to draw like this, you know,
over-exaggerated hourglass figure.
But that's because I never view women like that, you know. And usually when I draw a female now, or even you can go through the sketchbooks, I just draw the face.
That's all you.
I usually just draw the face or I draw the eyes. I don't ever really go into like a full body,
full figure,
like everybody be doing, trying to copy mangas and this and that. Like I just draw what I see in my head.
Exactly.
So what I'm trying to say is a lot of y'all are just copying, changing the color, and then pasting and saying it's you. Why? I don't know. Because it's not art. It's really not. I mean, that's the same thing as like you taking some music and saying, well, I had a little bit more rhythm than that person, so that I did it. So that means it's black now. It's me.
That's crazy.
It's the same thing.
That's always been insane.
It's the same thing though, isn't it?
For the most part.
I mean, think about it. It's a dance, right? Let's say tap dancing. Tap dance is the same, right?
It is.
The form's the same, right? And yeah, some people could be getting it more than others, right? But tap dancing is the same. So if you're doing tap dancing, but I'm doing tap dancing, why do I have to be the black tap dancer? Because I want to stand out. And I want to auto-segregate.
Yeah.
Let's talk about auto-segregation, bro. Bro, why y'all labeling yourselves black nerds, man?
Because they want to be cool. They all just on autopilot, bro.
Like, you complaining about the effects of auto-segregation, but you don't want to do anything to like do about it just because it seemed cool because it's different.
I was actually thinking about this today. I was like, somebody out there is going to be like, because I want to be seen as equal, right?
Equal to what?
Well, hear me out. If you want to be seen as equal, why are you putting black in front of everything?
Exactly.
Does anyone else do that?
No.
If it's equal, it's...
You don't hear nobody talking about their Asian nerd.
Does anyone else do that?
Mexican nerd.
No, and why is that? Because they actually have traditions and culture. Black Americans don't have a tradition because all y'all done was just copy white people, copy actually anyone, and then go black on it. You didn't actually find anything. Like you can go, oh, I'm African, but are you actually doing it?
And the few traditions you did have, like, you just threw it away for what, like momentary fame?
Well, my thing,
or momentary popularity.
Again, as Black Americans, what is the culture? There is no culture. You look at the history, there is no culture. The culture you created is all based off of other stuff, just like white people. Not trying to diss white people right now, but like realistically, you are just copying.
White, bro.
You're copying and you're putting a little twist on it.
Yeah.
It's the same thing. Like, I'll never forget the day I was so mad when I found out ghetto was actually used for where they put the Jews at.
Yeah.
And I'm just like, that's ridiculous.
The ghetto.
Why do you want this? Like, why do you want this image?
And now it's attached to us.
Now it's us.
Let's say we're so... This is the only race that continues to put itself down.
For whatever reason.
It's self down. Not from other people
Yeah.
or from numbers or this and that. It is the only one that proceeds to keep putting itself down for no reason. Like, there's not even a reason anymore. People can say, "Oh, well, they didn't know," and this and that. There is so much technology.
There's technology.
There's actually too much information
at fingertips.
So you're choosing
to
not know. Yes.
Be ignorant.
So, what are you complaining for then?
The solution is at your fingertips.
You can even use AI to dumb it down for you if you're not understanding the history. I mean, it's crazy. You can literally go on Google before the AI and still ask it, "Hey,
Google got AI.
How does this work? Why did this happen?
AI.
Blah blah blah. How does this culture work?" Like, you can literally ask so many questions.
So many. All you have to do is try. Like,
they don't try. They just want to copy and be cool.
And I guess since that's the mainstream now, but we're very much in an anti-intellectual period of time that's been spanning for almost way longer than a decade, almost 2 decades. And it's just keep getting worse and worse. We're gonna hit the breaking point eventually, but.
And then when it comes to going back to the black women, like actually showing attraction to nerds or black nerds in general, I just think it's a dumb question. Like, I think it's a dumb.
It's a
dumb statement.
What is it?
A claim, sorry.
It is a very provoking statement because in reality, this is not even true.
Well, my thing is too, like, why?
It is very provoking. Like,
why would you? Not everyone needs a nerd, right? I mean, everyone's different. Everyone's just different. That is that simple. Like, they don't need necessarily a black person. They don't need a nerd. They don't need a blurred. Whatever.
Whatever you're attracted to.
Everyone's different, bro.
Like,
and your attraction changes day by day. You might have thought this was cool one day, and now the next day you're like, dang, that wasn't cool actually.
Yeah.
Because you met a person, you thought was cool, whatever. Like, it changes.
Actually, that wasn't that bad. Like, I've heard from many girls that said, or many black women that said, "Oh yeah, I dated a black nerd, but they did me bad because they cheated on me or whatever."
Because they don't take them serious.
Yeah.
Let's say it's the same thing as they don't consider them nerds, but it'd be the same guys that be playing on the PC, ignoring their girl. And girls do it too sometimes. They'll just go and do the same thing. It's a people thing, It's a people thing. Well, they'll get so caught up in this one thing, they're not even respecting and treating that person as a person
at all. Don't even think you exist.
Like, they don't have their brains on when they're playing Marvel Rivals for whatever many hours.
20 hours straight.
And the person's in the room and they ain't even really talk to them. They ain't really eat nothing. Like, dude, that's not normal.
It's not good.
I don't care what anyone says. It's not normal. It's not healthy.
Because at that point, why are you even with them? Like,
I don't think a Childish Gambino himself would even call himself a black nerd. A black nerd.
Is there any documentary report of
he
him ever
literally
calling
was
a black
playing
nerd?
a character. Like, I don't understand what
they took that character as fact because they felt like they're portraying him in like Community.
And you know what's crazy about that show? It's predominantly it's mostly white.
And not only that, it's mostly white. It's satirical.
It's mostly white. They're an older crowd. So what do you mean you're relating to him?
That man's in his 30s.
Like, you literally in the show.
Yeah,
like,
he was old.
He was old.
Like, what are y'all talking about? That's why I never understood. Like, I liked his music growing up. That's how I got into him. I didn't actually watch the show. I found him on SoundCloud. Like, literally just randomly one day, I was like, oh, I mess with this.
I watched the show before
I watched the show way before.
And then I watched the stand-up, and I was just like, okay, I guess. I was like, this is kind of extreme, but I get it.
I didn't like his stand-up, actually. I didn't think he was very good.
I get what he was doing, And I'm not mad at it because you're getting a paycheck.
I mean, shoot, he getting his money.
I've never seen his stand-up.
Like,
I mean, it's the same thing as, what's the name? Cat Williams playing dang near a pimp every time he does a stand-up. It's just the energy.
The same thing.
If people are used to that when they see you, Kevin Hart, he has to yell.
The short man, or the short man, black man yelling.
He has to yell. He has to get angry man syndrome. It wouldn't feel right if he doesn't, right?
Yeah.
Because you're so used to seeing it.
Okay, he has like personas.
Yeah, people are used to it, so it feels wrong if you see anything. You feel betrayed almost because you fell in love with the character, not the person.
Nope. And a lot of that's gonna shatter a lot of people's realities of.
And that's what kills me because these animes, these comic books, it's just a character. It's not a person.
It's just a character.
There's no 3 dimensions to them. This happened because this, for the story, most of the time actually. It's not even for the character. It's for the story.
The story.
Story
is always more important than the character.
It can be titled Batman, but it's for the story. It's not for Batman. Because y'all don't want to focus on the individual stuff.
And even then, because
the stuff that does focus on individual stuff, for example, Random, but Adventure Time, that has more individual stuff. That has more individual lessons.
Yeah.
It's a lot deeper than expected.
Yeah.
But notice how the episodes are kind of all over the place. There's an overall story.
It's episodic, but an overall plot going on in the background.
But it's because we're focused on developing the characters as people. You see how I go? Like, it's
just...
It hurts my soul.
It's very frustrating to hear black nerds or blurs.
I'm not even offended.
Issue these...
I don't even be offended when people try to put me in that. And heck, we used to call ourselves blurs, and then at some point I said suburbians, because I was like, I don't really feel like we really know stuff like that to be, full on nerds.
Nerds, because...
I'm saying, I'm also not geeky. I mean, I was skateboarding the other day. I was doing flips.
Multifaceted people, like actual real human beings should be.
I just like multiple things. I don't really stick to one thing. Like, I love Tekken, but you don't see me having it on my wall.
Yeah, you have a Tekken poster, Tekken this, Tekken that, Tekken controller.
Dude was playing NBA Street talking about he's a nerd.
Question, is NBA Street nerdy?
Bro, if you have a PlayStation, you playing 2K, bro. Like,
is 2K nerdy?
Nah, look, I'm calling you a nerd if you playing like Farm Simulator, cause you have to know you have to know details to understand the game.
But shoot,
you put that many hours in.
I see 40-year-old women like at work be playing Farm Simulator,
or like the plane simulators. Like, dude, you have to know to play the plane ones, bro. Yeah, it's literally realistic.
Playing that.
It's realistic. Mm-hmm. You can actually fly a plane.
Flight simulator, yeah.
You understand that? You know how to fly a real plane.
All the different buttons.
You a nerd, bro.
Program and all that.
You're a nerd because you're geeking out, but you're not actually doing it.
I don't know how to fly a plane.
You know what I mean? Like, that's nerd because you're geeking on it. You're not actually doing it.
Yeah, like
that's real.
But NBA Street being nerdy, bro. Like, come on now, bro. That is actually embarrassing. Man. A girl not gonna be unattracted to you just because you're playing NBA Street.
Look, no. Actually, any fighting game. I don't care which property.
Yeah,
it is.
Any fighting game.
You can't tell me you're nerdy, bro. Like, what are you nerding out on?
It's the most normal thing ever.
What are you nerding out on? It's just fighting.
You're just throwing hands.
Listen, look, what are men usually known to do? Fight.
Aggressiveness and competitiveness. Like if we're not fighting in real life, we're fighting in the game.
So what you... Like, because someone doing it on a computer and not in real life where somebody can get arrested? Like, so you're... You see what I'm saying? It's dumb.
GTA not nerdy.
It's dumb.
Exactly. You know how many people play GTA across the world?
Well, I'm a Twitch streamer, so you know.
Nah, don't even get me started on Twitch stream. But I met some of the most normal
dude. The most mainstream gamers aren't nerds.
Are not even
they're
gamers.
They're not nerds.
You barely even consider them gamers.
Like
y'all saw what happened with. Ninja. I hate to say it, but. You saw what happened to RDC when they played Marvel Rivals. Come on now.
And they're supposed to be the nerds.
And they're the nerds? Come on, bruh. A real black nerd would have never lost.
Hey, bro, Mark gonna get on us if they see it. No,
I'm sorry, but
I'm just kidding, bro.
Y'all and they gotten better.
I know.
But
they
it's
suck
a difference.
They suck at Call of Duty, bro. They garbage, bro. I don't care what they say, bro. They garbage.
It'd be entertaining.
They can. Somebody can call me out. I do not care.
It'd be entertaining though. But
I don't even like call outs on shooters because it's like, well, you're gonna go distinctly for me. You know the map layout and all this crap. Like, dude, it's not that hard to seem good. I'm just being real. You challenge somebody, it's not that hard to seem good.
And
if it's a shooter,
even that, I get
if you know the spawns,
especially Call of Duty.
You know what I'm saying? Like, especially with all the crap you can do now. Running up walls and all that crap. Like,
shoot, okay, hold on.
It don't require skill.
Who was it?
Fighting game, I'll give that to you. Most games.
Shoot.
There are some that do be broken.
I can give real life, like, okay, in RDC, Leland and John, when they play GeoGuessr, they almost perfect.
Hey, Leland be the only one really boxing on any fighting games.
And shoot.
Like all
and he's
the
been fighting.
Games. All the fighting games.
I can say, Leland is a Sonic nerd. a Dragon Ball nerd and a fighting game nerd.
Like the way Mark just be like, "Hey, what's that thing?" And then somebody would just yell out a fact. That's nerd.
The way he was.
Like we're not saying RDC's not nerds, but we just saying like you can't say nerd in general for everything.
Yeah,
you're a nerd for certain things.
Like very specific. Nerd is a very specific thing.
Like you can't just be an overall nerd.
If you're not gonna call them black nerd.
If you're an overall nerd, that means you're like the modern day Renaissance man, where you know everything.
Everything.
Like you mastered multiple things.
And that's just actually impossible.
And that's just not true.
It's impossible.
Because most people just don't have the time. If you had the time, of course, it's possible.
Especially in this society.
But people don't have the time or the money.
You know how it is in America right now. If you're not working, you're dead. So
you know, but yeah. Well,
I guess the only thing I want to say is that the question, do black women love nerds, is the completely wrong question they'd be asking in the first place.
The question is, why do we feel the need to be blurred?
Why do we feel the need to auto-segregate?
Like
no other ethnicity or race does that.
Let's say I'm not trying to diss on RDC again, but DreamCon, it's not good for Black Americans.
I always wonder what OG DreamCon looked like.
It's just segregating.
Beforehand.
It's just segregating.
And the crazy part is it's called DreamCon, right? It's not called BlackCon. It's not called Black NerdCon. It's called.
And it's not their fault.
It's not their fault.
It's the people.
I blame the fans.
It's the people that hopped on the wave. It's not the OG fans. It's the people that hopped on the wave. They ruined the image.
Because like it's called DreamCon.
And heck, that's why they feel so iffy about it now. Where they're
they
like,
see what it's turning into.
They kind of feel like, Houston kind of.
Houston's a crazy place to be in.
Like, bro, we grew up in Houston. It's
There's
normal.
literally a blurred con that exists.
And you see how
or crazy concept. You can just go to any convention you want.
Yeah, you know,
and just have confidence in yourself. I bet you 100%, especially if you're doing cosplay, you will feel a lot better going with a friend or a group, going to just whatever one you want, than going to just one where people look like you.
Or shoot, even an introvert. Exactly. Just go.
You're not gonna feel safe at DreamCon.
Like just because
they try their best to keep it safe, but like
again, it's not their fault. Like it's it's the same thing as when. I mean, really, it's just anything when you create an organization or an event and then people turn it into something else.
Yeah.
But that's why we talked about the games, though. The characters, the brands. They keep it like that so that doesn't happen. Because otherwise, Sonic would be who knows what.
Low key.
A black trans
like
hedgehog.
Oh, God.
And at that point, some people might be outraged. Me, I just be confused. I'm like, how we get there? You know what I mean? Like,
what happened?
How did we get here?
Like it just, people had their visions though.
You can look at the original version of the original vision of Spider-Man, and you compare it to now, where it's like you had this selfish kid growing up in like the semi-hood Queens.
He was so mean.
And bro, Spider-Man was a hothead introvert, bro.
That man was a jerk.
He did not want to talk to nobody. The only thing he ever loved.
His face, the way he drew him, bro.
With the big glasses.
No, his eyebrows, bro. They're mean the whole time, bro, until he gets bit.
Literally, like, and then he feeling himself. He's having fun and stuff. But then his selfishness, like, costed his Uncle Ben's life. And even then, that didn't fix nothing. He was still a jerk afterwards.
Yeah.
But as he continued to evolve, the original version or the original vision of him changed to.
They started making him more relatable.
Yeah.
I mean, his weakness is the people he loves is in danger
every time, without fail.
Like,
without fail.
like, come on now.
Like, and then
it's just
see, now you have like 30-year-old Spider-Man.
That's cool and all, but I need him to be black,
bro.
To feel like
but that's
he's
not the point of the character, bro.
And he's only inspirational if he's
you want to know what the crazy part is? When you ask, do you know who when you ask like other blurs, like, okay, who's the author that created Miles Morales? No. No. And they'll say something like, or do you care what race he was?
Jaden Smith.
Because Michael Bendis is a white guy, and he created Miles Morales.
Look, man, they don't.
They don't know.
He's a white guy. Huh? Inspired by the fact that people wanted to.
I mean, dude, talk about the real life Black Samurai. How'd that happen?
Oh my god.
How'd that happen? Was any black person helping him?
Hell no.
Exactly.
That man was surrounded by a bunch of Portuguese men and Japanese men.
And who helped him out?
A Japanese guy that took him in.
Crazy.
Nobunaga took him in.
It's a crazy concept.
Like,
did he not help people that didn't look like him?
Imagine if he would have been like, "Oh nah, you're black."
Contrary to popular belief, if you compare Yasuke to other slaves, he was living in a much nicer situation.
But much was like
he was chilling for a good while.
Like he technically had a choice.
He did. He had a family name.
He had more opportunities.
He had a family name. He was getting money. He's really just kind of he basically
because that's why he disappeared.
He wasn't even a slave. Like
remember, if you read anything on him, he actually just disappeared.
He did. Like there's no accounts, probably because they treated him like a normal person.
Listen, like when you think about it, he technically could have ran off at any time. Like actually could have ran off. I'm not talking like escape plan. Like I mean, bro probably could have just disappeared. They probably would have been like,
right. Let's be honest, who's really stopping a giant?
Well, what's the point chasing him?
Yeah, like that too. Like
you know what I mean? Like he ain't do nothing.
Then what? After you catch him,
like where's one dude?
And one dude, and back then in like Japan, they didn't have slaves like that. They had like
it's so bad.
Bro. It's
so bad.
Stop auto segregating, please. Stop doing this to yourself.
That's the main message here.
Stop doing it. You're not getting women because you're throwing yourself a pity party. You like, is pity sexy? No, it is not. Pity is not sexy.
I just keep face palming, bro. Because I keep
no. Is pity sexy?
No, it's just because I'm thinking about the characters, right, and why they were drawn in certain ways. I mean, simple as like Superman, right? Why is he wearing those tights? Because it's based off the wrestlers at the circuses, right? People don't think like, shoot.
They don't.
Why are you drawing this character as you? This is black character. You're ruining the whole character.
Superman.
You don't understand why they wearing what they wearing. You don't understand why this is like that.
Exactly.
There's a reason for everything. I mean, literally, like the character design, right? And some of them stay the same for a reason. There's a triangle because it's to symbolize evil, right? It's sharper because it's evil. You soften it, that's not that character no more.
Yeah.
Like
Superman was created by two Jewish men. Two Jewish men. Now, so what does that tell you about how his origins played out?
I'm getting myself triggered.
Like,
I'm thinking about artists that like I know that do this crap.
Two Jewish, like, come on now.
And they claim it's art, and it's like, okay, that's art to you, but why do you feel it's not? It's okay. I can't respect it because you feel the need to get validation, and you're copying something.
You wouldn't need validation if you keep posting.
If it's truly your vision, I don't need to see the whole thing. You get what I'm saying? I don't need to see the full process. I don't need to see version A, B, and C. I give y'all the final logo, right? I make logos all the time. I don't send you all the drafts. I don't post all the drafts. I send you the one I want you to see. Because that's the one I want you to interpret.
Actually, I have because there's this artist I recently followed. His tag handle on X, formerly known as Twitter, is Motomachia. But he's a black guy. He does he practices lei, which is just a form of kenjutsu. But like the only reason he practices lei is to work on his manga. Now his manga is completely original characters. You can tell he's not copying any. It's literally just his vision. Not because he's black and he likes swords and katanas and stuff, and he likes the medium, but because that's the story he wants to tell.
Mm-hmm.
It's all about what you want to tell. A lot of these people don't have anything to tell.
If you do want to see, like, follow him on Motomachia on Twitter or Instagram. Like, his art is amazing. I love it. But he has a variety of characters and casts. Like, that's what you should aspire to be as an artist.
Yeah.
Showing your own vision of what you see, not copying someone else's.
And I wouldn't even say that. I say it's about what do you want to tell.
That too.
Black Omni-Man.
Because I may not want to show y'all exactly how I view the world. You know.
That too. Like, what you want to tell?
Like sometimes, yeah, some people do want to be transparent, but other times it's just about I just want to get this message through using X, Y, and Z, or this is how I imagine this story. You can do a retelling.
Yeah.
But you're not retelling. You're just copying. You know. You're just You're just tracing.
You're
just
actually
tracing,
tracing.
and you're just changing a little bit of the lines.
Instead of using tracing as a tool to like
And
better yourself.
I was going to say, you can use it as an exercise, but don't make that your main thing.
Because
you're not an artist.
Yeah, like you're no better. You're no better than the AI that y'all downplay.
Well, because what would you do if you didn't have a tablet and you didn't have Pinterest and you didn't have these images? What you gonna do? What an artist should be able to make art without, all of this stuff to inspire it.
Only thing you need is paper and pen.
Because you should be able to just picture it. You're creative.
Or even then,
you're creating.
Paper and crayon.
You're not an art. You're not creative if you didn't create anything.
Yeah. Literally. Yeah.
Oh my god.
But
I'm putting beat on myself before I keep going.
Yeah, the Glover effect is not real, bruh. Stop.
That's dumb as hell.
Not. Again, we're not trying to diss nobody. This is just our interpretation.
that just so happens to be correct.
Yeah. Sorry, not sorry.
So, what was it? Pillboy?
Pillboy? Like,
we just
disagreed.
We just disagree. It's not saying like, oh, take this down or like, nothing like that. I'm not telling you what to do. We're just telling you.
Oh, your intentions are good.
Yeah. We're just telling you our perspective. That's it. That's literally it. This is just a counter argument in an essay. Just think of it that way. That's it.
For the most part, yeah.
You ain't gotta people watching. You ain't gotta be no winning side. Just
it's more nuanced than that.
Let's say just listen to both, watch both, come up with your own.
Come up with your own interpretation. I challenge you to come up with your own interpretation of our argument and his argument, Pillboy. Think for yourself.
Y'all want to call it there?
Oh, yeah.
Well, what you got? What you got?
Nah, say it.
No, need to say that at the camera.
Alright. That's the last thing I was to say.
Well, it's been different shades, bro.
Alright.
If y'all like this, like it.
Please.
I mean, we gonna upload it regardless of views.
DS Talks, man.
Hey.